Hi, everyone. Hi, Jeff.
Hey, Tamoya, how you doing?
Great. Let's talk about Ohtani. What did you
Okay.
think about Ohtani's last outing on the mound against the A's?
I think it was great. I think that his previous outing in Houston was not very good, and I think there was certainly a lot of concern that he was getting fatigued late in the season. And he also mentioned, depending on what the translation was exactly, soreness or stiffness or something after he threw 117 pitches in the outing before that, and then he didn't feel 100% to start on Friday night against the A's, which is what he was originally scheduled to do. So all those things kind of combined made a lot of skepticism that maybe there was something wrong with him or he shouldn't pitch anymore. And the way he came out and pitched, I think, put all that to rest.
People, if you have any comments about Ohtani's last outing, please write in the comment section below. We want to know what you think. Now, in Japan, everyone's talking about Ohtani getting his 10th win of the season as a pitcher. I guess double digit in home runs, double digit in wins. How big is it that Ohtani gets his 10th win?
I think it doesn't mean anything at all. I think it's ridiculous that people even worry about it. I think Ohtani established himself as a unique generational player when he got one win, basically. As soon as he became a good pitcher and hitter, he was in a class by himself. And after that, 2 is better than 1, 3 is better than 2, 4 is better than 3, right on up the line. And 10 is better than 9, but 11 is better than 10. And Babe Ruth had 13 wins. So there's no way that you can say Ohtani becomes equal to Babe Ruth, when he gets 10, because they're both double digits. I mean, I think that the number of digits is irrelevant. And I just don't think people should even worry about it at all.
Even Ohtani said that he doesn't care much about wins as a pitcher, win-losses, because there's so many things that are out of his control, right?
Yeah, I mean, obviously he pitched great against the A's and he didn't get a win. So what can you do? I personally pay almost no attention to pitchers' win-loss records anymore. It doesn't really tell you the true story of how well a guy pitched. I'm much more interested in what his ERA is. So I don't think that people should really obsess at all about what his record is.
By the way, Babe Ruth's 1918 numbers when he was two-way player was 13-7 as a pitcher, and he had 11 home runs. His ERA plus in 1918 actually was 122, which Ohtani is actually better now in terms of ERA plus. So I guess it doesn't really make sense to compare just wins, right?
Yeah, I mean, it really doesn't make sense to compare them at all because they're 100 years apart. They're playing in totally different environments, and they have totally different requirements, physically to play. So I don't think that really people should be comparing that on that fine of a level, Ohtani versus Ruth. I think both of them are in a class by themselves, separate from everybody else. And to try to pick things out, that makes Ohtani better than Ruth or Ruth better than Ohtani, I think is just a waste of time.
Well, even though you said that, I kind of want to put it out there. Do you think what Ohtani is doing right now as a two-way player is more difficult than what Babe Ruth did in 1918?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that Babe Ruth was sort of a two-way player by accident. He pretty much was a pitcher, and then once he realized he was a really good hitter, then he didn't want to pitch anymore. And I think that Ohtani has intentionally all along been a two-way player at a point where the talent level is so much deeper to where you have to be so much better in order to get the opportunity to be a two-way player. I think when Babe Ruth was playing, the talent pool was so much shallower, and you didn't necessarily have to be so elite at either skill to be a major leaguer as you do today, because there's so many more people vying for these jobs. The technology and the training and all that is better. The players are also much better than they were then. And I think that for Ohtani to do what he's done in this environment is harder than what Ruth did in that environment.
So would you put Ohtani's 2021 season above Babe Ruth's 1918 season, just comparing those two seasons alone?
Yeah, probably just because of what I said about the environment. I think it's probably harder for Ohtani to do what he's doing today than it was for Babe Ruth to do what he did back then.
So Babe Ruth's 1918 OPS plus was 192, even though just with 11 home runs, his number is better than Ohtani's OPS. So maybe Babe Ruth was a better hitter that year, but less as a pitcher. Madden kind of inferred shutting down Ohtani for the rest of the season. Do you think that would be a good move at this point?
Well, I think it certainly looked at the time he said that like it was probably the right thing to do because Ohtani had mentioned, some kind of discomfort, and he was playing catch and he didn't feel 100%, and he also hadn't pitched very well in his previous outing. And you look at the number of innings he pitched compared to his previous years. He hadn't had a full season as a pitcher since 2016 in Japan, and obviously the Angels are out of it. So all these things added up to looking like there was probably no reason to continue to send him out there. But I think Ohtani wants to pitch. I think once he had a couple more days and felt better, then he said, give me the ball again. And obviously he pitched very well. So, I think they're going to just have to kind of trust Ohtani. And if he feels like he can go and it's not going to cause an injury and he still feels like he can be successful, which he obviously was in his last time out, that they probably will just let him go. And either way, there's only maybe 2 starts left. So it's not going to be a big difference if he makes those 2 starts or not.
Let's talk about that game against White Sox when Ohtani got hit in the calf by Mike Wright. For people who don't know what happened, could you briefly explain what happened in that game?
Yeah, so Tuesday night, the first game of the Angels series in Chicago, the Angels hit 3 White Sox players with pitches. It was Jose Abreu, Yohan Moncada, and I don't remember who the third one was. But, I didn't really notice anything at the time. On one of the guys that got hit, the pitcher actually slipped on the mound when he was releasing the ball. So that obviously was not intentional. But anyway, I didn't think anything of it. And they played Wednesday's game, nothing happened. Thursday's game, nothing's happening. And all of a sudden in the 9th inning, the game's out of hand. The Angels are winning 9-3, I believe. And Mike Wright throws a pitch sort of at Ohtani's legs and misses him. Ohtani gets out of the way. And he throws a second pitch right in the same spot, and he hits him in the calf. So then the umpires got together and they talked about it. And apparently they decided that it was intentional. He was trying to hit Ohtani. So they kicked him out. And he got suspended for 3 games.
Did you think it was intentional?
I think it probably was intentional that they threw at Ohtani, but I don't think it was intentional that the Angels threw at the White Sox hitters the previous night. So I didn't really think the White Sox should have been upset about it. And I didn't think they were upset about it after it happened on Tuesday. So I was surprised to see them do it. But after they did it, it was clear that that was why they did it.
Why was it that Ohtani was the one who was hit, although he had nothing to do with those incidents that Madden talked about?
Well, generally, teams try to hit a player of similar stature. It was one of the players that got hit for the White Sox was Jose Abreu, who's obviously their best player, middle of the order hitter, former MVP. So I think that the White Sox felt like the equivalent player on the Angels to hit would be Ohtani. Ohtani didn't seem to really be upset about it. He just kind of seemed like he either knew it was coming or it didn't bother him, but he was kind of laughing as he got to first base. It's all kind of silly, I think. That I don't really think the Angels were throwing at Abreu or any of the other guys intentionally in the previous game. And, if the White Sox were that upset about it, they could have done something about it during that game.
What are your thoughts on retaliation by pitchers?
Well, I think that it's a little bit silly because if you really feel like something is intentional, then okay, you can retaliate. But I think it's probably not intentional, usually, the first one. And so you're retaliating for something that was an accident. The Angels pitchers that hit the White Sox on Tuesday were Packy Naughton, Oliver Ortega, and just these pitchers are barely into their major league careers. And there's no reason for them to be intentionally throwing at all-star players on the White Sox. It just doesn't make any sense. They just were bad pitches. So for the White Sox to be upset about it and retaliate, I think is silly.
Why do pitchers intentionally hit hitters in the first place?
Well, there's really no good reason for it. Sometimes they're just frustrated. Maybe if a guy has shown them up, which you hear about sometimes, bat flips or a guy slow home run trot or that kind of thing. Sometimes it's just to make the hitter more uncomfortable. If a team is hitting really well against you, you don't necessarily want to hit them, but you want to make them less comfortable in the batter's box. So you're not necessarily trying to hit them, but you're trying to, knock them down, move their feet. So they're, have to be a little more aware of where the pitch is going to be and not just be, sitting there comfortably waiting to hit it.
Hey guys, thanks for watching the video. If you liked it, don't forget to click the like button and subscribe to our channel so you don't miss any future videos. You can also watch our past videos from the description below. Hope to see you again next time.